An invoice shows a list of different services and their associated costs. The last line of the list shows the total amount to be paid. Figure 5.1 Advanced word processing features allow you to create complex documents such as invoices, custom envelopes, business cards, and much more. Credit modification of please pay this amount by Megulb/Flickr, CC by 20. Chapter outline. 5.1 Creating different document types in Microsoft Word. 5.2 Mail merge in Microsoft Word. 5.3 Creating forms in Microsoft Word. 5.4 Creating different document types in Google Docs. 5.5 Creating forms in Google Docs. 5.6 Advanced collaboration in Google Docs. Microsoft Word includes some specialized features that can be used in a variety of ways for both business and personal use. These features are designed to save you time. For your WorldCorp Market Trends report, you can use these features to gather information from employees in different departments, communicate with vendors and customers, and even create forms to be used for human resources purposes. The chapters on creating and working in documents and document preparation focused on the basic functions of constructing effective documents in Microsoft Word and Google Docs. In this chapter, you will learn enhanced capabilities in Word and Docs that go beyond simply creating a document. You will also spend some time reviewing additional types of documents you might encounter in business, such as invoices and cover letters. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to create a template, create a business memo, create a letterhead and an envelope, create a business card, create a brochure and a flyer, create an invoice, create a business plan, create a resume and a cover letter. Having different document types ready to go can be useful in both everyday life and your professional life. When it comes to something like applying to jobs or schools, a task that requires writing a similar document multiple times, you don't want to waste time by starting from scratch for each application. You can do this by using a template, which we learned about in creating and working in documents. This section will show you how to create your own template for a few different document types, including memos, letters, envelopes, business cards, brochures, flyers, and invoices. Template. In creating and working in documents, we defined what templates are and where to find them in Microsoft Word. There are also a number of templates available on the internet. Word has web search capability so that you can look for additional templates on templates. Office.com, as you can see in Figure 5.2. On the Office template website, there are thousands of templates that can help entrepreneurs and small businesses start making their business more systematic. You can find Word templates for email advertisements, calendars, brochures, memos, business cards, invoices, business plans, warehouse receipts, and more. Once you download the template, you can populate it with data and further modify its appearance. New is selected, opens to search bar and options of templates, blank document, chronological letter, and adjacency letter, the last two showing an example of the type of letter for selection. Figure 5. 2. You can search for templates using the desktop version of Word, or you can go to your web browser and download the templates. Used with permission from Microsoft. Using pre-built templates can be incredibly useful, but sometimes you might use a custom document type often enough that you want to save it as your own template. To do this, go to the File tab and use the Save As command to save the document with the .x extension. That will save the document as a template. This means that every time you open this .x file, a new file will be created with all your formatting already in place. Once you make your edits to the new document, use the Save As command again to save the template file. .x as a standard Word document file, docx, making sure to choose the docx extension to keep the changes. This will ensure that your edits are saved to a new document, not to the template file. The docx files are standard Word documents used for editing and sharing, while .x files are Word templates used for creating new documents with a consistent format and style. These same steps need to be followed when building a template for any kind of file, whether it is a memo, envelope, brochure, flyer, or invoice. Link to learning. While Word comes with many fantastic templates installed, there are many more available online that are free and can be used with Word. A Google search will garner thousands of available templates. You will likely come across Canva in your search. Canva does provide access to some free templates, However, these files must be edited in that service and are saved and downloaded in file types that are not necessarily fully compatible in Word. When searching for templates, be sure to verify they are indeed compatible with Word and come from a verified and trusted source. Business memos. Word has templates for memos and newsletters. These are similar forms of communication in that they both inform a large group of new changes or trends in a company and may call for action. Yet there are some differences. Memos are used internally, while newsletters are for external audiences. Memos also usually have a standardized format. Newsletters have more freedom of form and may incorporate a lot of graphics. Like brochures and flyers, both have been digitized in the form of emails. Despite the widespread use of email, printed business memos are still commonly used to communicate important information within a company. Memos typically follow a specific format, which formal company email transmittals may also do today. One common structure is to include an opening thesis statement, the main issue, and a closing statement. The opening is an introduction, and it may recall some relevant past activities or current activity. The main issue should include the changes that are being announced to the company. The closing is a reminder of the current project general objectives. It may also include a complimentary closing such as, "Thank you for your kind attention," or something similar. Last comes the signature, which is the sender's name, job title, and email address. Like an email, a memo should always include fields for to the employees, from typically management, and CC, which stands for carbon copy. In the 1980s, before personal computers, letters were typewritten, and a piece of carbon paper was inserted between two sheets to make a copy of the letter. The copy created by the carbon paper was the carbon copy, or CC. CCing others is a process still used in emails today, although of course there is no physical hard copy involved. Memos should also include fields for the date and a subject. You can see a memo template that was downloaded from Microsoft's template page in Figure 5.3. In a memo, the heading section contains company name, to, from, CC, date, and ray. The body text section contains comments. Figure 5.3. Today's emails have copied the classic style of a business memo, used with permission from Microsoft. Newsletters can follow a similar format, but consider that your audience will be different. You may want to use different language, incorporate graphics, or include more details. Newsletters may not only communicate information and updates to an external audience but are often used as advertising. Microsoft's newsletter templates are a good place to get started if you are not sure how to format your newsletter. Link to learning. Newsletters are the most popular email advertisement form. Read this step-by-step guide to writing a newsletter at reads.com. You can find advice on newsletter creation, the audience, the types of newsletter formats, idea prompts, and more. Letterhead and envelopes. A letterhead is a type of heading that contains company contact information and a logo. It can be used in many scenarios, both personal and professional. Figure 5.4 shows an example of a professional letterhead for a business. The logo and company contact information will go at the top right of the document. The information in the template is generic so that you can customize the template with your specific company information. A letterhead template with geometric designs is displayed. The top right corner has space for inserting a logo, address, and email. The body of the template is in business letter format. Figure 5.4. Using the letterhead templates can make creating a brand image for your company easier by providing pre-built designs. Used with permission from Microsoft. Business letterheads are also used in conjunction with company envelopes. You may have pre-printed company envelopes with the company logo on them. If not, you can create one using templates. When corresponding by mail, it is much more professional to have a printed envelope with the recipient's information, rather than have handwritten details. While we will cover creating envelopes for larger mailings in the next section, here we are focused on printing one or two envelopes. Word has templates and other customizable capabilities to create printed, custom envelopes. You just need to fill in your address with your name in the left corner and fill the recipient's data in the middle. To print the envelope, you will need to load the envelope in the correct orientation in the printer. Then you will go to the File tab and select Print. Printers can vary by brand, so consult the owner's manual for your printer or search online for the proper way to print an envelope. Using the envelopes command is another solution, and it allows for more customization. You first need to make sure that your address is saved into Word settings. This is done through the Options command, located on the File tab. Selecting the Options command will open a window, and inside that window you will see a tab called Advanced. This is where you can set your address as Figure 5.5 shows. Advanced is selected in a Word Options window. Options selected include Provide feedback with animation and update automatic links at Open. An address is inserted into Mailing Address pane. Figure 5. The Advanced tab of the Word Options window is where you can make sure your address is saved. Used with permission from Microsoft. Tip. From the Tools menu, click on Envelopes. You can make formatting changes here. Also, in the Tools menu, there is an option for Labels, which has a similar functionality for preparing mailing labels. Next, go to the Mailings tab and select Envelopes. In Figure 5.6, you can see the dialog box that will appear. The blank address is the recipient's address, and on the bottom is your auto-generated mailing address. If you want to change the envelope size, choose Options and you will see a combo box with the standard sizes, Figure 5.7. When you finish typing the recipient's address, click on Add to Document. The Envelopes tab is selected in an Envelopes and Labels window. Delivery address window is blank. Return address pane has address inserted. An Options button is at bottom, Figure 5.6. The Envelopes and Labels dialog box shows you a simple preview of what your customized envelope will look like. Used with permission from Microsoft. An Envelope Options tab is selected in an Envelope Options window. Options available include envelope size, delivery address, return address, and preview. Figure 5.7. The Envelope Options dialog box allows you to customize the placement of addresses, as well as set custom printer settings. Used with permission from Microsoft. As Figure 5.8 shows, the envelope is inserted as the first page of the document, and along it there is a section break. If you want to repeat the styling and envelope size again, it would be a good idea to create the envelope in a new blank document, and then save it as A.X. An envelope is visible with an address in the top left and another address in the middle of the envelope. Figure 5.8. This is what the envelope command will ultimately generate. Used with permission from Microsoft. Business cards. A business card is a small, typically wallet-sized card that contains your contact and company information. It is usually given to clients or potential clients when you meet them, so that they have your contact information easily available. Business cards may be provided to you by your company, or if you are self-employed, you may make them yourself. They usually contain basic contact information, like your name, your position title with the company, your phone number, and your email address, in addition to some eye-catching design elements like a logo or image. Business cards are usually printed on thick, sturdy paper called cardstock. Many companies will order business cards for their employees using approved company designs and layout. At WorldCorp, the marketing department is responsible for providing business cards to employees. However, if you are a small business owner or freelancer, you might have a need to create your own business card. You can easily design a business card in Word and send it out for printing at a business card printing shop, where you will likely have a few different cardstock options, lighter or heavier weight, glossy or matte finish. You could also purchase the cardstock and print the business cards on your own. This paper is generally perforated, and some major paper companies that produce this type of paper have templates for their products in Word. Some of these printing companies may want your design in PDF format. As we discussed in creating and working in documents, having a document in PDF format means that the design elements will not change at all, no matter who opens the file. If you send the printing company a design in DocX format, some elements might move when they open the file depending on which program they are using to open and print the file. In Figure 5.9, you can see most of a business card template that we downloaded from Microsoft. The page has 10 business cards per page. Simply fill out the information in the fields provided. Once you fill in one area of the first card, it will auto-populate the same area in all the remaining cards. A template for business cards is visible, 2 across and 3 down. A design runs across the top and spaces for adding a logo and address, email, and web address are available. Figure 5. 9. Using a business card template can make designing your cards easy. Used with permission from Microsoft. Brochures and flyers. Both large and small businesses use advertisements to display what the company offers and detail the specifications of the offer. Brochures and flyers are a printed form of advertisement. Although many advertisements are found on the internet these days, printed ads are still popular. Flyers tend to be graphic-oriented, contain minimal text, and often advertise an event or temporary promotion. Brochures can be an introduction for a company or specific product and may be used for a longer duration than a flyer. As with many documents discussed so far, the best way to create a brochure or flyer is to download a template from Microsoft and then fill in the information. Because brochures and flyers can be image-heavy and can have complicated layouts, using a template is the fastest and easiest way to create them. With a template, you can establish a base layout and then easily change the images and the color scheme. In Figure 5.10 and Figure 5.11, notice the default design of a brochure from Microsoft's template page called Business Brochure. The brochure is 2 pages, as it is designed for double-sided printing. The brochure is also set in a 3-column layout that is meant to be a trifold design. The layout is there, and all you need to do is change images, the color scheme if desired, and the text. At WorldCorp, the marketing department plans a holiday toy drive each year. Your boss has asked you to create a brochure with the details for the drive to be distributed to all employees. You can use this template to create the brochure for the event. We will walk through the steps to create this brochure in the following sections. An image of a brochure in 3 columns is visible. Images and text fill the pages in a variety of fonts, styles, and colors. Figure 5.10. This template is a trifold design. When folded, the panel on the right is the cover and the panel in the middle is the last page. Used with permission from Microsoft. A trifold brochure is shown. Each column is formatted with headings and space for text. There is space for a quote in the middle column. Figure 5.11. Designing the brochure from an existing template saves time. Used with permission from Microsoft. To change the 2 images, right-click on one of them and select Change Picture as shown in Figure 5.12. Then browse to the folder where the image is and select Insert. Mac tip. On a Mac, the command is Ctrl plus right-click. If the new image is too wide, use the Command Crop from the Picture Tools Format tab. To change the color scheme for the whole brochure, go to the Design tab and click on the Color drop-down menu, as in Figure 5.13. Changing the colors this way will change the color palette for the whole brochure. Finally, to change the actual text, put your cursor on any of the panels of the brochure and change it manually. In this example, you change the pictures and the text on the first page of the brochure to include details of the toy drive at WorldCorp. Options available for customization include cut, copy, paste options, edit picture, change picture, selected, group, bring to front, send to back, link, save as picture, insert caption, wrap text, edit alt text. Figure 5.12. The pictures can be customized to your needs either from stock photos, photos on your computer, or photos you find online. Used with permission from Microsoft. Colors button is selected and opens to Options Custom, Options Visible, and Office. Lists a variety of color palettes with labels. The blue warm palette is selected. Figure 5.13. The color scheme can be changed using the Design tab. Used with permission from Microsoft. To create a flyer, choose a flyer template from Microsoft's templates and follow the same steps as for creating a brochure. As you can see in Figure 5.14, flyer templates are just one single page meant to be printed single-sided on one sheet of paper. A sample flyer is shown with space for a title and subtitle, images, headings, flyer text, and contact information. The flyer has preset spacing, font, and design elements included. Figure 5.14. A flyer is similar to a brochure, but it is printed on one single-sided page. Used with permission from Microsoft. Invoices. An invoice is an important document. It is essentially a bill given to a customer for a product or service provided by a company. You may encounter invoices either as a recipient or the sender. If you are the one purchasing a good or service, you will receive an invoice. The invoice tells you how much you need to pay. If you are the one selling the goods or services, you will need to create the invoice yourself, then send it to the company or person making the purchase. In both cases, an invoice should always explain what was provided, sold, and what is owed. There are many kinds of invoices for many kinds of businesses, but all invoices should have a date, invoice number, description of the goods sold or services performed, the quantity, the price per item, the total, and the payment due date. The Microsoft 365 collection of templates has many designs and types of invoices by industry. Using a template to design your invoice can be helpful because invoices often include complex table formatting that can be difficult to design. The invoices can vary based on whether you are providing a service, such as maintenance, for which you might charge an hourly rate, or providing an actual product like WorldCorp's laptops and TVs, for which you might charge a per-price fee or flat rate. You can create an invoice by following the same steps outlined above for brochures and flyers, by creating a new document and selecting an invoice template. Just as you would with the other document types, click in the text boxes to make the necessary adjustments to the information in the invoice. Figure 5.15 shows some of the different invoice templates available. New window displays search bar with invoice typed inside. Options of templates are visible beneath with thumbnail images and short test descriptions. Figure 5.15 invoices can be customized to include the company logo and include custom fields, such as sales tax or discounts. Used with permission from Microsoft. Business plans. A business plan is a document that describes a company's plan for growth and profitability. Business plans may have different uses and applications depending on the type of business and stage of growth that the business is experiencing. For instance, some startup business plans are used to seek funding for a venture. They may describe a detailed short-term plan for the company's first few months of activity, then a broader long-term plan for future growth. There are also business plans for established companies, such as capacity-building business plans. These types of plans are used to explain why a company needs funding to buy a new capital asset, such as a manufacturing plant, or to refurbish an existing one. The business plan templates you will find in the Microsoft Office database will give you a head start on designing and formatting your business plan. But keep in mind that these templates will not give any advice on what to include or what kind of language to use in your business plan. For that, you can get some examples of an already made business plan online. Figure 5.16 shows an example of the first couple of pages of a business plan template in Word. Side to side is selected in the Page Movement command group of the View tab. 2 pages of a document are visible side by side on the screen. Figure 5.16 The purpose of a business plan is to discuss the roadmap for opening or expanding a business. Used with permission from Microsoft. Resumes and cover letters. As you start your career and begin your job search, you will want to present yourself as a serious candidate, ready to take on challenges. One way to put yourself on the right track toward professionalism is by having a resume. A resume displays your work experience, academic degrees, and overall skills. Some resume experts say that you should limit your resume to 1 or 2 pages, but depending on the position, you may want to describe your studies and experience in more detail. Like business cards, resumes can be simple or more imaginative. While a visual, graphics-heavy resume may be eye-catching, a plain text document may be more practical. When you apply for a position, you will often be directed to an area of the company's website where you are prompted to upload your resume to their system. Then, using computer software, they scan the document for critical information such as keywords, years of experience, and skills, and then filter the resumes that meet the desired job requirements. These computer programs do not read drawings and designs well, so a creative or graphics-heavy resume may not be interpreted well by this technology. If you need to print your resume, it is appropriate to add your personal letterhead to the top of the document. While letterheads are often used to present company information, as we learned earlier in the chapter, you can also create a personal letterhead. This type of letterhead is essentially a professional branding of your personal data, displaying your name, position if applicable, mailing address, email address, and telephone number. It might have a simple graphic design like a solid color bar or a more intricate design or logo. Using a consistent letterhead across all your communications will add a look of professionalism and could help increase your job prospects. That consistency confirms to the potential employer your ability to see the bigger picture and your ability to visualize the tied-together documents. Another way to use your personal letterhead is on a cover letter. Cover letters always have a distinct purpose: to present you as a person and your skills and relevant experience in a brief manner. Writing a letter on your own personal letterhead shows professionalism, as well as gives the recipient an opportunity to write back or respond. Like a business memo, there is a specific way to structure a cover letter. It should always include the date, your letterhead, the recipient's address, salutation, complimentary closing, and signature. The body of the cover letter should address these aspects in different paragraphs, usually in this order: the introduction, discussion of the job position that is being offered and your interest in applying. The second paragraph, your work history summary. You need to be brief and cover the main points of your career. Also include the relevant skills you possess for the job. If you are applying for a management position, include your management responsibilities in past jobs, for example. The third paragraph, description of how you fit the job offered. You might also want to add your overall career objectives here and explain how this job furthers these. The conclusion. A closing paragraph that includes your willingness to be right for the job and your motivation for applying to this company. Normally, cover letters are 1 page and at most 2 pages. You may adjust the mentioned format by adding new paragraphs to add more detail on your work experience and skills. The templates covered in this section can help you develop your personal letterhead and cover letter. There are several options for resume and cover letter templates in Word. Figure 5.17 shows a sample cover letter, and Figure 5.18 shows just a few of the options available through Microsoft. As with the other templates, simply replace the generic text in the template with your specific information. A sample cover letter for a resume displays: date, name, return address, and salutation are at the top left. The body of the letter follows in a business format. Figure 5.17, a cover letter is a complement to your resume and specifically outlines how you are a good fit for the position to which you are applying. Used with permission from Microsoft. A new window is open. Resume is visible in the search bar. Various options for resume selection are shown with sample thumbnail images provided. Figure 5.18, choose a resume template that not only matches your personality, but also coincides with the type of job you are applying for. Used with permission from Microsoft. Real-world application. Creating brand you. As you grow in your own profession, you might want to consider developing your own brand. This will include how you present yourself on social media, as well as all media and supporting documents you might use to advertise yourself and your product. Corporations often use brand guidelines to ensure consistency across all brand items, such as business cards, letterhead, envelopes, and logos. Here are logo guidelines from Mitsubishi Motors, for example. These guidelines give specific details on how to use and not use the company logo in different circumstances. When developing your own personal brand, consider using the following steps. First, investigate personal brands. Canva offers a guide to personal branding that can help. Seek out individuals who do this well. What elements are they using and why is their strategy effective? Next, design your business card. You might also want to consider developing your own logo. However, there are many free online resources available that can help you with this. Once you have a business card, design your other stationery. Finally, develop a memo and invoice design from scratch. These will be important as your personal business grows and you have regular business communication and contracts to support your business. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to understand the purpose and function of mail merge. Set up a main document for mail merge. Set up a source document for mail merge. Complete a mail merge. As companies grow, they may need to scale up their production methods. This can be a complicated process. An increase in size usually means an increase in revenue, but this comes at the cost of an increase in units produced or services rendered. As a result, companies need to find ways to make their everyday business process more efficient and automated. One form of automation is the streamlining of communication with customers. With an increase in volume, the sales team needs to handle hundreds or thousands of clients every day. This can be made easier through the use of form letters, which are a kind of template for communication. In form letters, the content of the letter is the same for all recipients, but certain information may be personalized or customized. The mail merge tool in Word is one way to create these auto-generated letters. Although there are third-party companies that offer these large mailing type services, the mail merge features in Word are free and simple to learn. What is mail merge? Many businesses stay in touch with their clients and customers using some form of communication. Some of these communications may be printed ads, some may be email newsletters. These communications are sometimes personalized with the name of the recipient. How do businesses automate this personalized process? One way to do this is by using Mail Merge. Mail Merge is a tool in Word that lets the user write a form letter or advertisement while leaving some areas of the document blank. These blanks are fields that can be programmed to contain personalized information. The recipient's given name, phone number, address, or any other type of customized field. The Mail Merge tool makes sending letters or emails to hundreds or thousands of people relatively easy. The process typically begins with the composition of the communication that you want to send to the recipients. This is referred to as the main document. The main document will have blank spaces or fields where personalized information will go. Then, you need to create your source document, a separate document that has all the required information that will go into the blank customizable fields, such as postal addresses or email addresses. The source document can be a document that already exists, such as a list in Microsoft Excel or Access. We will talk about these programs later in the text. Or you can create a new list of names and addresses. A business may already have this document in Excel or Access, as some businesses keep a running contact list. Finally, information in the source document and the information in the main document are combined to create the merged document. This merged document will show the personalized customer information in the designated blank fields on the main document. Then multiply this form by the number of recipients. For example, if the form letter is one page and you have 50 clients, Word will create a merged document of 50 letters that can be printed. Let's walk through an example of how to use the Mail Merge tool to send out a set of personalized letters to customers. You will learn how to build a main document, your source document, insert merged fields, and merge to finalize your letter. The main document. The first step of the Mail Merge is to compose your main document. The main document could be an existing document, a template, a .x document, or a brand new document. In this example, let's use a business letter template as the main document. You can type it up yourself based on the example in Figure 519, or use the text provided in the downloadable Mail Merge document. This letter will be sent to WorldCorp customers, informing them of the upcoming holiday hours for the warehouses so that they can plan for delayed shipments. Figure 519 shows a form letter to inform the customers of the holiday closures. The template used is called Business Letter Simple Design to create the letter. We also added a simple WorldCorp logo at the top of the letter. We have highlighted in green where we want the Mail Merge tool to create the personalized fields. These are not the actual fields, yet this highlighting is simply to help us mark those locations for when we do add them. In this letter, we will insert the customer's address and the greeting line with their name. You can certainly use more fields than these, but for this example, keep it simple so you can learn the process. A form letter template displays a gray line across the top in WorldCorp in large font below. Address and salutation are highlighted green. The letter is in business letter format, Figure 519 templates can be used to create the main document for Mail Merge, used with permission from Microsoft. The source document. The source document needs to be a listing created in Excel or Access. But this walkthrough will build a new list rather than using an existing list. You will build the new list with just a few customers so you can see how Mail Merge works. But remember, Mail Merge can be used with many customers and is virtually limitless. The capacity of the Mail Merge is limited by the capacity of your computer. The source document is built with the intended recipients. To begin, go to the Mailings tab, select Recipients, and choose Type a New List from the menu Figure 520. Mac tip. Under the Mailings tab, click on Select Recipients and choose Create a New List. Notice there are two other choices. Use an existing list and choose from Outlook contacts. When you have finished entering in the information for the customers, click OK. Select Recipients is selected and opens to options for selection. Type a new list selected, use an existing list and choose from Outlook contacts. Figure 5.20. Although you can create a new recipient list, if you have a long list, it is better to work from an existing file. Used with permission from Microsoft. When you choose to create a new list, a dialog box will open so that you can build your list of recipients. Here, you type in the relevant information for the mail merge, as shown in Figure 5.21. By choosing Customize Columns at the bottom of the dialog box, you can add or remove the fields that you are not using. Make sure you add all the information you think you will need for your custom fields. When you do the final mail merge, you will only be able to choose from the defined information you provided in the source document. For this example, we need the customer name and address. A Customize Address List pane displays options for field names. Title is selected. Add, delete, rename, move up and move down buttons are available. Figure 5.21. You can customize the fields used in the list. Used with permission from Microsoft. When you finish selecting the fields needed for the mail merge, you will be prompted to save the list as a new file for use as the source document in the mail merge. See Figure 5.22. The default location for the file is in a folder called My Data Sources. Figure 5.23. You might consider a descriptive name to tell you that this file contains data used in a mail merge. New address list window reads. Type recipient information in the table. To add more entries, click New Entry. Tabs include first name, last name, address, line 1, city, state, and zip code. Figure 5.22. When you finish entering the information, click OK to save the file. Used with permission from Microsoft. Windows C Drive is selected in a Save Address List window. A PDF file titled Customers1. MDB is visible. Save as type, Microsoft Office Address Lists *MDB displays at the bottom. Figure 5.23. The list will be saved as a file with a special extension so that Word knows the list is the source document for mail merge. Used with permission from Microsoft. Merge fields. Now that you have created the main document and created and saved the source document, you now need to insert the merge fields into the main document. First, insert the blank fields on the letter so that Word can automatically fill them with personalized information. First name, last name, address, city, state, and zip. In Figure 5.24, you can see the icons in the right and Insert Fields command group on the Mailings tab. These give us some common merge fields: address block, greeting line, and insert merge field. For this example, use Insert Merge Field. When you select the option, you will notice that the fields available in the drop-down list are the fields from your source document. Therefore, make sure the fields in your document are descriptive and as separated as you would like them to be. For example, if you are sending a mailing out to voters, consider whether you should include all the members of the household in one mailer, or if you should address them separately, in which case, you should list each of their names individually. To insert the field, put your cursor where you want the field inserted into the letter. For our example, we want address line 1 to replace our highlighted green street address placeholder. See Figure 5.25. Simply click on the field from the list and it will be inserted at the cursor location. Repeat this process for the other fields. Notice the fields are denoted by. This notation tells Word to get the relevant information from the source document to put into that line in the document. Mailings tab is selected. In the right and Insert Fields command group, Insert Merge Field is selected. The drop-down lists these options for selection: first name, last name, address, line 1, city, state, and zip code. Figure 5.24. The fields in your source document are in the Insert Merge Field drop-down menu. Used with permission from Microsoft. In the source document below the date, address line 1. City, state, zip code is highlighted green, as well as Dear first name, last name. The body of the text is not highlighted. Figure 5.25. 25. Be sure to remove the green highlighting in the document, as we just used this to show where we wanted to insert the merge fields. Used with permission from Microsoft. Now that we have our source document with all of the customer information saved, and we have inserted the custom fields into the main document, we can complete the mail merge process. First, you should always preview the document to make sure it looks as it is supposed to. Go to the Mailings tab and select Preview Results as shown in Figure 5.26a. This allows you to see all of the letters with the actual, personalized information in place, as in Figure 5.26b. All the merge fields you designated in the main document will be substituted by the actual information. You can use the left and right arrows at the top right area of the ribbon to toggle between recipients. A Preview Results button is selected. The source document displays discernible spaces where information will be inserted. B Preview Results button is selected. Addresses and names are inserted into the document. Figure 5.26a. Before you complete the merge, preview the results so that everything looks as it should. B Notice the fields have been replaced with the first name in our recipient list. Used with permission from Microsoft. If everything looks okay, then you can complete the mail merge. Go to the last icon on the Mailings tab, Finish and Merge. The drop-down menu gives you options to edit, print, or send emails with the merged documents. In this case, we are going to mail the letters to the customers, so we will choose Print Documents from the list. If there were any issues when you previewed the letters, you could select Edit Individual Documents to make the necessary changes. When you choose to print, you are given the option to select which ones you want to print. We will choose All for our example. The print dialog box will open with the default printer displayed. You can choose to send the letters directly to the printer now by selecting OK, or you can choose to print the file to a PDF file so that it will be saved. This PDF file will have 4 pages, one for each of the 4 recipients in the source document list. What you have just walked through is a mail merge from scratch. There is also a step-by-step mail merge wizard that guides you through the same steps. You can use mail merge for a wide variety of applications, such as creating name tags for an event, making labels for mailing packages, letters, creating envelopes, business cards, or postcards, or sending emails to a large group. Even though the tool is called Mail Merge, its capabilities go beyond simply creating a mailing. Link to learning. Visit Microsoft's detailed support page on doing a mail merge to learn more. Further support can be found on Redtail Technologies' sample mail merge templates page, which has some examples of downloadable form letters. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to understand the Developer tab and its usage. Use the tools in the Controls command group. Create a fillable form in Microsoft Word. This section reviews how to build a fillable form in Word. Fillable forms can be very useful in businesses. These forms can be emailed to recipients as attachments, and the recipients can fill in required information into the form quite easily. The fillable form creates fields that can be filled in by typing directly into the Word document. You can also insert checkbox fields, drop-down menus, and long text fields into the form. Fillable forms have many applications in business, such as gathering information on new hires that you might later want to put into a database, or obtaining company information from vendors for billing purposes. The primary purpose of the fillable form is to facilitate electronic completion while keeping the integrity and formatting of the document. Individuals can only input information into the fields you have identified. The rest of the document is locked from editing or deleting. Figure 5.28 shows a simple example of how a fillable form can be a useful tool. If you wanted to gather information on a new vendor, for example, you could create a simple document, email it to the vendor, and have the vendor send the completed document back to us. However, as Figure 5.27 shows, if you just create the form as a typical printable Word document, it is difficult for the vendor to input their information. They would need to edit the form itself in order to fill it out, which is not ideal. With a fillable form, the vendor simply inserts their information into the provided fields and the rest of the document is protected from editing. The fillable form can also be enhanced with decorative features such as the company logo, Word form visible with spaces for information insertion, Company name, Jones Industries. Address, 347 North Street, city, state, zip, and phone. Blank lines follow the requested information. First two answers provided. Figure 5. 27. As information is entered into the form, the underline is replaced with the text. Used with permission from Microsoft. A fillable form displays. Company name and address have information provided. Click or tap here to enter. Text is visible in a gray font next to other prompts. Figure 5. 28. A fillable form gives a more professional appearance and can be customized with the company logo or letterhead. Used with permission from Microsoft. Developer tab. To create surveys in Word, you need to enable the Developer tab. This is typically not one of the default tabs in Word, so you need to manually add it. Go to the Options command on the File tab, then on the Customize ribbon tab, then enable the Developer tab. Mac tip. To add the developer toolbar on a Mac, you will need to go to Word, then select Preferences, then go to Ribbon and Toolbar. In the search box, type Developer. Select the Developer tab from Suggestions. In the dialog box under the ribbon header, select the box that says Show Developer tab. The Developer tab serves several purposes, as Figure 5.29 shows. In addition to containing the tools needed to design fillable forms, it also contains the tools to create computer programs, macros in Word, to protect and restrict access to your document and other advanced tasks. The majority of the features on the Developer tab are for more advanced uses of Word and are outside the scope of this text. This section focuses on the controls and protect command groups, which contain the tools we need to create and secure our fillable form. Use for forms, labels, controls, command group options. Rich plain picture content control, building block gallery, checkbox, combo box, content control, drop-down list, date picker, repeating section, legacy tools, design mode, properties, group. Figure 5.29. Making a form in Word uses these control commands. Used with permission from Microsoft. Controls command group. The Controls command group includes several different icons to represent the fields you can use in your form. Figure 5.30 identifies the icons you will be using to create the form. The remaining icons in the command group are used for building sophisticated templates in Word. The controls we are using in this example are called content control fields. These fields give people a space to type in, add a date or image, or choose their response from a list. In other words, they are interactive fields that can be specially programmed to receive input from recipients. The content control fields create a user interface that seeks input from the respondent. The controls command group is visible with these items crossed out: building block gallery content control, repeating section content control, legacy tools, and group. Figure 5.30. The controls you see with the X are not used when creating fillable forms. Used with permission from Microsoft. The top-level commands are for inserting text or images into your form. The inputted answer will use either rich text or plain text. Rich text allows the user to use bold, italic, and underlined font, different font types, and so forth, whereas plain text does not allow these types of font formatting. This distinction is important if you plan to print the form and want the text to appear with specific formatting. In general, the plain text response will suffice, as most respondents will not need to add formatting to their answers. The Insert Picture command, the landscape icon, is for letting the respondent add an image to their answer. This command may be used to ask the user to upload their profile picture, for instance. The middle-level commands are for asking multiple choice-type questions and for setting the date. The first leftmost in this row is the checkbox. This handy option reduces the amount of information that needs to be typed into the form. For example, the form could have a list of all departments at the company, and the respondent could simply check the box of the department that they work in, rather than type in the response manually. You could also have multiple select questions that ask the survey taker to check all boxes that apply. The combo box and the drop-down list also ask the respondent to select from a set of preset choices. The main difference between the two is that the combo box lets the individual type a message after their selected answer, whereas the drop-down list forces them to choose between the options. The last rightmost command is the date picker, which allows the individual to select a date when they are completing the form. The respondent can choose any date with the date picker, such as their birthday or their date of hire. The Design Mode tool is used to customize the prompts that appear as the survey taker fills out the form. You can use this to customize the prompt to the respondent. This can be more helpful to the survey taker than the generic default text, e.g., click or tap to enter text. The last item you may use in the command group is the Properties tool. This tool allows you to modify the lists associated with the combo box and the drop-down list. It becomes active once you have added a combo box or drop-down list to your form. Creating a form. Before adding the fields, you should first develop the plan of the form. One way to do this is to type out the information or questions that you will ask into a blank document. Creating the form using a table is one option for presenting a professional appearance. This format helps keep everything organized and neatly aligned. The table should have 2 columns and as many rows as you will have questions. Using only 2 columns allows you to put the questions in one column and the answer fields in the other. The column on the left will have your questions, and the column on the right will have the fields for the respondent's answers. You should change the table borders in table properties so that they are transparent, making it so that the respondent cannot see them. This way, the questions and answers remain aligned, but they will not appear to be in a table format to those viewing the form. Alternatively, you could choose to not use a table to create your form. In this case, the questions and answer fields would need to each be manually aligned. For this example, let's use a table to create a fillable form. In your role at WorldCorp, you have been asked to collect information from all department office managers regarding their need for pre-printed company office supplies. Your department marketing is responsible for all office supplies that include the WorldCorp logo. A large order is placed each quarter for items such as letterhead paper, envelopes, notepads, and pens with the logo and business cards. To help facilitate the process, your supervisor has asked you to create a fillable form that can be emailed to each department's office manager to gather information on items that will need to be ordered. Creating questions and control fields. To begin, start with a blank document and insert a 2-column table. Type all your questions in the left column, information on the department, whether they need items ordered, and the quantity and type of items are needed. Figure 531 shows how the information will be gathered from the various departments. Because this is just the draft form, we have noted in parentheses the type of control that will be used for that question. You can go back and remove that information after you have inserted the fields. Notice that the table lines are still visible in this initial draft version. To remove the lines from the table, use the Borders tool in the Paragraph command group on the Home tab. The Layout tab is selected on the ribbon. In the document, a 2-columned table is shown with 7 rows. Table lines are visible. The second column is blank. Figure 531. Your form should have a tidy and professional appearance. This could mean removing the lines around the table and inserting the company logo. Used with permission from Microsoft. Then insert the control fields, where the respondent will put their answers in the right column. First, insert the date picker control field as figure 532 shows. Notice the text says, click or tap to enter a date. This is not very descriptive. You can change this in design mode to be more descriptive. Design mode lets you change the preset instruction text. To turn on design mode, simply click it in the Controls command group. You are now able to change the default text to be more specific, such as enter today's date, figure 533. Date picker content control is selected. The first cell in the second column displays a drop-down with click or tap to enter a date. Figure 532. The default text inserted with the control fields is not very descriptive, so you may want to replace it with your own, more detailed text. Used with permission from Microsoft. Design mode is selected in Control of the Developer tab. The first row in the second column displays a drop-down with Enter today's date visible. Figure 533. Your custom text should be descriptive enough so that the user knows exactly what they need to put in the field. Used with permission from Microsoft. Continue with the remaining questions and enter the field and specific prompter text for each question. Figure 534 shows how the form should look at this point. Now go back to each question and examine the properties to determine if changes need to be made. Notice that a bulleted list and the Insert Signature tool were used in the right column. You learned these skills in the Creating and Working in Documents and Document Preparation chapters. Note that the notes in parentheses were also removed. Two columns display with prompts at the left and options for answers at the right. Spacing of the columns and rows is adjusted for visual display. Figure 5. 34 changes to the line spacing in the table now make the form more visually appealing. Used with permission from Microsoft. Now that you have the form constructed and the control fields inserted, you can customize each control field if necessary. To do that, you need to select the control field and then choose the Properties command. A dialog box will appear for that control, as shown in Figure 535 for the first field, today's date. Here, you can change the format of the date to be entered. There are only a few options for the text boxes. You can change the font and the fill color. You can also choose to have the control locked so that it cannot be deleted. For this example, use the default settings. A Content Control Properties pane is visible. The locking displays options for content control cannot be deleted selected and contents cannot be edited. Figure 5. 35. By checking the Content Control Cannot Be Deleted box, you can protect the field. Used with permission from Microsoft. For the multiple choice questions, the drop-down lists, and the combo boxes, the setting up takes a little bit longer. You need to manually add the choices to the list for each question type. In your form, you need to write out the departments so that the office manager can choose the appropriate department. To do this, go to the Properties for the drop-down list, see Figure 536. At the bottom of the dialog box, locate the drop-down list properties. Here is where you will add the various departments. By default, the only option is Choose an Item. We need to remove this item and add the departments. Click on Choose an Item and select Remove from the options on the right. Now choose Add to add each department. Notice that the display name and value name are the same. There is really no need to change this, but you can change it if you want the respondent-facing choice to look different from what is actually logged as their response. For example, you could have the display name, i.e., what the respondent sees in the drop-down list, to say accounting, but the actual value that is displayed when they choose accounting is ACT. Continue in this same manner to add all the departments as shown. If desired, you can change the order of the options in the list by choosing Move Up or Move Down, Figure 536. For a more professional look, consider placing the items in alphabetical order. Add Choice pane is visible, displaying options for display name space to fill in information. Finance is selected, and value space to fill in information. Finance is selected. Figure 536 with a drop-down list, use properties to define each of the categories in the list. Generally, the display name and the value should be the same. Used with permission from Microsoft. Finally, you need to format the checkbox field. As with the other control fields, you can change the font and style, see Figure 537. But with the checkbox, you can also change what type of symbol is used in the box. For example, you can choose a heart instead of an X for the form. To do this, choose Change next to checked symbol. Choose what type of symbol you want for the checked box, see Figure 538. Content Control Properties pane displays category for checkbox properties. Options available are checked symbol, selected with an X, and unchecked symbol with buttons for change located next to both. Figure 537. The default symbol for the checked box is an X. Used with permission from Microsoft. Symbol pane is open with font drop-down at the top, symbol selected. Rows of various symbols are visible, heart highlighted blue. Recently used symbols display at the bottom. Figure 538. Choose symbols from the drop-down menu in the font field to find the heart. Used with permission from Microsoft. You could adjust the properties of each control field as you enter them into the document. However, it is often easier to add the fields first and then go back and make the needed customizations to each field with the Properties tool. When you have finished formatting all the control fields, make sure you have saved the document. You can now turn off design mode by clicking the tool in the command group. Now is also a good time to add some visual elements to the form, such as the company logo or other elements to make the form more visually appealing. You should also remove the borders around the table. Figure 39 shows what the finished product might look like. In a quarterly office supply order form for the department prompt, a drop-down appears for choose your department, corporate headquarters, finance, marketing, operations, and shipping. Figure 5:39 notice that when the drop-down list is selected, the various departments show up. Used with permission from Microsoft. Protecting the form. When you are finished with the form, you need to protect the file before sending it to the various office managers. This will ensure that they cannot edit the questions and controls, that they can only provide responses. The way to protect the document is similar to the process described in the Creating and Working in Documents chapter. To protect the document, select the Restrict Editing command from the Developer tab and a sidebar will appear. You can also access the Restrict Editing command from the Review tab. This sidebar will give you options for preventing editing from happening on the file, as shown in Figure 540. When you send the file to others, be sure to send the file as an attachment to the email rather than sharing the document link. If you have saved this file in your OneDrive and share the document as a link, your original file will be changed. You should instruct them to save the file under a different name and to send the file back as an attachment. Restrict editing selected. Options include formatting restrictions, limit formatting to selection of styles, editing restrictions, allow only this type of editing in document, start enforcement. Are you ready to apply these settings? Figure 5:40 before sending the survey form, you need to prevent clients from editing the document. Used with permission from Microsoft. Link to learning. There are a lot of detailed privacy considerations when conducting surveys. A considerable number of laws are in place to protect consumers when participating in corporate surveys. Visit the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario's Best Practices for Protecting Individual Privacy in Conducting Survey Research site to learn more. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to create and share a template, create a business memo, create a letter and associated letter for mailing, create a business card, create a brochure and a flyer, create an invoice. Like Microsoft, Google has ready-made templates for many types of documents. This section will walk through how to make different types of documents using these templates, as well as how to upload other templates and create documents from scratch. In contrast to Word, Google gives users the power to share their documents with the public or internally, simply by uploading them to Google Drive and granting permissions to download them. Using a simple URL, anyone can find and use publicly available user-generated templates. Google also has its own default template gallery, which contains a few different types of templates for workplace documents such as project proposals, meeting notes, newsletters, and contracts. However, the document types we will cover in this section, that is, many of the same ones we covered in creating different document types in Microsoft Word, do not have existing templates in the Google default template gallery. We will walk through how to approach creating these documents using a few different methods. Templates. All the documents covered in this section can be saved as your own template. If you want to publish a template so that everyone can use it, i.e., to all Google users worldwide, you may do so. When you are finished formatting your document, you can go to Google's template gallery and select Submit a Template at the top. Note that not all Google accounts can submit templates. This feature is available only with the paid business and education programs in Google. After you submit a template, Google will ask you to browse for the file in your Google Drive. Then you can enter a description so that people who search for a certain kind of document, for example, an invoice, memo, business card, or cover letter, will be able to find it. Next, select the category the document fits in and the language of the written text. Finally, click on Submit Template to finish the process. Another way to publish a template is to share it with others in a shared location so that your collaborators or coworkers can access it. The chapter Creating and Working in Documents covered how to share documents with others. Then, you can send the template to your coworkers by email by sharing the link. The only caveat with sharing templates is that shared templates should not be directly edited because this would alter the template itself. You can set this shared template to view only if you are concerned about this happening. Otherwise, explain to the collaborators that when accessing the document, they should not edit it. Instead, they should use the Make a Copy command. If you would like to access a Google template, not the user-generated templates in Docs, go to File, New, and choose from Template Gallery. This will give you the listing of the templates available. Notice they are categorized by usage, business, education, and so on, business memos. We reviewed the business memo's goals and overall form in creating different document types in Microsoft Word. These basic understandings remain true when you are creating a memo in Docs. The only difference between Docs and Word is how you access the template to create one. There is no default business memo template in Docs. Google's template gallery has plenty of templates, including ones for cover letters and project proposals. This means that you have to search the internet for one, upload one from Microsoft, or create it from scratch. One way to find a user-generated business memo template is to go to Google's search engine and type memo template site https docs.google.com into the search bar. See Figure 541. This will search for all public templates with the description memo template. However, this will get you a wide range of templates, so you should evaluate them carefully to find a memo format that you like and that looks professional. A Google window with memo template site http docs.google.com in the search bar offers various thumbnail images and descriptions of templates in the Images tab for selection. Figure 541. There are a lot of user-generated templates available on Docs.google.com. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. You could also use a template from Microsoft and convert it to a Google Doc. We chose to use a template from Microsoft's productivity template page here. Use the same template we used in creating different document types in Microsoft Word. Figure 542. Save it as a docx file, then upload it to Google Drive. While you have the uploaded template open in the Docs window, choose Make a Copy to keep the original file as a template. Then you can fill in the required memo fields with your own information. A sample memo template displays a design at the top and a space for a logo. The body of the text is visible with various fonts, colors, and styles. Figure 542. Uploading and editing a template from Microsoft is easy, used with permission from Microsoft. Letterhead, letters, and envelopes. The process and requirements for making a letterhead are the same in Docs as they are in Word. You fill it out with the same components: name, address, other contact information, which are placed in the same location on your documents at the top. You can use a letterhead for any kind of business or personal correspondence, but this example will use a cover letter. Although Docs does not have a specific template called cover letter in its default template gallery, it does have a few that are simply called letter. First, start at the welcome screen, which is the first screen you see when you navigate to Docs.google.com. Select Template Gallery at the top right. If you are using a business account, you will see a tab with your business name at the top left and a tab that says General. If your company has its own templates, you will see them in the first tab. But look at Google's default templates first and choose General. Scroll down until you see templates for letters. Some of the templates would work as a letterhead template. Figure 543. Select the template you like and Google will automatically open a new document for you. Simply replace the template text with your information on the letterhead: name, address, phone, email address, then add today's date, the recipient's name and address, and the body text as Figure 544 shows. In Docs, a template gallery displays a blank document as well as thumbnail images and descriptions of various templates for selection. Figure 543. Access the template gallery when you create a new doc in the upper right corner. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. A Google template for a letter displays sample ideas for company name, font, colors, and styles. Figure 544. Google's letter template has some classic formatting and tasteful colors. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. To print and mail the letter, take the professional step of having a custom printed envelope. To create and modify an envelope in Docs, you have two options. Get a user-generated template or template from Microsoft, or install an add-on. Unfortunately, there are no default envelope templates in the template gallery, so you have to get creative. To use the first option, you must do a manual search in your browser's search bar. This is the same process we used to find a business memo template. Type in envelope template site docs.google.com, and you will see a number of user-generated envelope templates. You can select one of these and add the information of the addressor and the addressee. These templates could be modified. The other option involves installing an add-on. There are several recommended add-ons from docs users in forums. An add-on is an addition to the base software program. Add-ons can be very specialized, such as specific add-ons for graphic design, or they can be more general, such as the one we can use to make printed envelopes. To search for an add-on, go to the search bar at the top right side of the screen, as shown in Figure 545. Here you can search for a mail merge add-on, which will give you the tools to print envelopes. A tip is to find an add-on that many users have downloaded and installed, so you know that it is effective. You can also filter the results to show which will work with specific programs and by price. There are many free add-ons for general usage. The more specialized add-ons might require you to pay a fee. You can see the add-on's name, rating, and number of users at the bottom of each result listed. To access the add-on, click on it in the Extensions menu, see Figure 546. A Google Workspace Marketplace window opens an All Filters tab, which opens to options for Drive, Gmail, Calendar, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Forms, and Classroom, and Clear All and Done buttons. Figure 545 add-ons can increase the functionality of Docs for more specialized tasks. You can install an add-on to print envelopes and other mailing options using Mail Merge. Google Workspace is a trademark of Google LLC. Extensions tab opens to options, add-ons, apps, script, Mail Merge. Mail Merge opens to options for Start, Track Emails, New, Envelopes, SMTP settings, Merge to Labels, Import Google Contacts, License, About, Help. Figure 546. The new add-on will be in the Extensions menu. Click on Add-on to access its tools and features. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. Link to Learning. There are many add-ons that increase the capabilities of Docs. As you have read throughout this book, Word typically offers more features than Docs. Yet, if you install many specialized add-ons, this gap becomes smaller. Read this article on popular add-ons for Docs to learn more. Business cards. As with other document types discussed so far, Google does not have a default template for business cards. You have a few choices on how to move forward. Upload a Microsoft template to your drive, find a user-generated template, or install an add-on. To use a Microsoft template, go to Microsoft's template page and choose the same business card template you used in creating different document types in Microsoft Word. You will be making some changes to it in Docs. You can use a letter-size paper to print the cards, but remember that business cards should be on cardstock and may need to be professionally printed. You can also look for a user-generated template on Docs. Google.com. As with the other template types, type business card template site https://docs.google.com into your browser's search bar or search engine to look. Once you find a template, you can add your information and company logo as usual. You may also change the design of the template by adding shapes and lines from Google Drawings. See the chapter on document preparation. Brochures and flyers. Docs has some default templates for brochures and flyers, but the brochures are not formatted in the traditional trifold way. In fact, the brochure templates are very similar to the flyer templates in Google. Figure 547 shows a 2-page brochure template. Note that it is a trifold format like we saw in creating different document types in Microsoft Word. To create a trifold brochure, you can use a Word template and open it in Docs. You might have to adjust some of the spacing when using a Word template in Docs, but it gives you a good framework to start designing your brochure. A Docs window displays a brochure template in 3 columns with options for images, text, styles, colors, and fonts. Figure 547 brochures in Docs look a little different than traditional brochures. Using a Word template can get you started on a trifold brochure, but you might have to make some adjustments to the formatting and borders. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. Spotlight on ethics, image usage and restrictions. The internet has put any number of resources at our fingertips. As we create documents, we may want to include images or graphics to augment the visual appeal of the document or to highlight certain information. Of course, many of us do not have the skill to create these on our own. Here, the internet can be very useful. You can conduct an image search on just about any topic and find relevant images, and then copy and paste or save and insert these images. But first, you need to determine whether the creator has given permission to do so. Otherwise, you are taking a work that isn't yours and using it in a way that the creator didn't intend. Most images you find will have an associated license or require attribution, as they are created by someone else, usually for someone else. Normally, a large company like WorldCorp would have a paid subscription to a site such as AP Newsroom for a repository of licensed stock images. However, you can also find many open-source images that are available freely and without cost. Wikimedia Commons is one popular open-source image repository. But even here, you must carefully read the different licenses associated with the image in question. While some images on Wikimedia Commons may be public domain, that is, without any copyright restrictions at all, others may have varying types of Creative Commons licenses, which may come with restrictions on usage and attribution. The most permissive type of Creative Commons license is a CC BY license. According to Creative Commons, this license allows users to distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format, so long as attribution is given to the creator. The license allows for commercial use. The least permissive type of license is a CC BY CND. First, the creator must be given attribution. Second, it allows for use and distribution in any format but can't be altered and can't be used for commercial purposes. There are varying degrees of Creative Commons licenses between these two types. Invoices. As with the other document types, there is no default template in the template gallery for invoices. Luckily, we can still search through the huge number of user-generated templates by searching for invoice template site https://docs.google.com. This internet search will return all public templates that people have added to their own Google Drives. After you find the invoice template of your choice, you can save it by going to the File menu and selecting the Make a Copy command as Figure 5.48 shows. File tab opens to options New, Open, Make a Copy selected, Share, Email, Download, Rename, Move, Add Shortcut to Drive, Move to Trash, Version History, Make Available Offline, Details, and Print. Figure 5.48. When you find a desirable Docs template from a user, you can get it by clicking on Make a Copy. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. Again, you can always import a Microsoft template and modify it in Google. For example, try using the same template you chose in creating different document types in Microsoft Word. As you start to work on the invoice, you can update it with company-specific information and logos. To save it as your own template, go to the File menu and select Make a Copy. Then go to your drive and rename it to Invoice Template or something similar. As with any other template, you may want to restrict editing permissions so the template itself cannot be changed, as the chapter on creating different document types in Microsoft Word explains. By setting the permissions to View Only, every time you open the template for a new invoice, you would have to use the Make a Copy command in order to create an editable version. Then, from your new editable version, you may proceed to change the data and save it under a different name. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to create a fillable form using a template. Create a fillable form from scratch. Distribute the form and view responses. Google released Google Forms in 2008 as a feature of Google Sheets. It became a standalone product in 2016 and became its own program, which enabled Google to add more features to it. Forms helps you create an online form that tabulates responses and analyzes information gathered from the form. This is the main advantage of using Forms over creating a fillable form in Word. Forms not only collects the responses, but can also summarize the responses for you. You just need to plan the questionnaire, write and design the questions, and email the form link to respondents. It has an easy-to-use interface like other Google products and includes additional features to help you sort through and understand the form responses. Because you are collecting the responses electronically through the Forms app rather than having the responses saved in a document file, you have many more options for how to view and summarize your responses. In the Forms app, you have options to view individual responses, download the responses to Sheets, and view graphs that summarize all of the responses collected. In the marketing department at WorldCorp, there are many uses for Forms. Forms might be more useful to the marketing department at WorldCorp because it is much easier to create a form and collect information in Google as compared with creating the form in Word. The process to create a form in Google is much more direct, and Forms also summarizes the information collected right in the application. As the Google programs are web-based, we will use the web browser to construct the questionnaire, and the clients will receive an email with a link. After respondents answer the questions, Forms can automatically create graphs to summarize the responses, which you can import into other documents or programs if needed. Form templates. Creating a form is like creating any other Google file. Begin in your Google Drive, select the new drop-down menu, and find Google Forms as seen in Figure 549. From here, you have the choice of creating a survey from a blank form or from a template. For this walkthrough, we will choose from a template, but we will review how to create one from scratch in creating a new form. The advantage to using a template is that you can choose a form that is already similar to the one you might have in mind. Using a template from the template gallery, Figure 550, will help save you time, as all you will need to do is modify the questions and answers, and then add some new questions as needed. Some of the templates in the template gallery are designed with specific purposes in mind. Event invitations, contact information requests, order forms, work requests, and customer feedback surveys. As Figure 551 shows, most templates just have a few questions and are meant to be modified and added to. A pane displays options: folder, file upload, folder upload, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Forms, more. Google Forms is selected and opens to blank form, blank quiz from a template. Figure 549. To begin creating a form in Google, you can either start from scratch, blank form or quiz, or use a template. Google Drive is a trademark of Google LLC. A template gallery is visible with options for templates shown in a variety of types and styles. Event feedback, order form, job application, time off request, work request, and customer feedback selected. Figure 550. When creating a form from a template, choose a category that is close to what you want to create. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Customer feedback template offers sample questions and options. A feedback asterisk window runs along the bottom. A toolbar offers options: add question, import questions, add title description, add image, add video, add section. Figure 551. Most form templates have only a few sample questions to get you started. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Creating a new form. If you want to create a form from scratch, select blank form from the drop-down menu. The form will start with a blank document that says Untitled Form. As in Docs, rename this file by clicking on the title bar to type the new name of the form. All new forms also have a blank space for a description just below the form's title. The respondent will see the description, so it needs to be informative to them, as Figure 552 shows. It is important to name the form, otherwise you are not going to be able to find it easily in your Drive later. Now you can begin typing the questionnaire. Use the first sample item in the blank form, a multiple choice item, or choose a different type of question using the drop-down menu on the right. There are 11 types of questions, as Figure 553 shows. Table 5.1 explains each type of question and what it is used for. Question tab is selected. The survey title and description are at the top. The next pane is titled Untitled Question, and a checkable bubble is shown for option 1. Figure 552. Add your first question to the form by choosing the type of question from the menu. Be sure to customize the form with a title and short description. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. A survey displays a question type pane with options: short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, checkboxes, drop-down, file upload, linear scale, multiple choice grid, checkbox grid, date and time. Figure 553 Forms has similar question types compared with Word's form controls. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Type description: short answer. These are open questions. The answer can be anything, similar to the plain text controls in Word. Paragraph: these are open questions, similar to the plain text controls, but you can answer with a lot of text in paragraphs. There is no rich text format control in Forms. Multiple choice. The multiple choice question is like the combo box in Word. You can include an other option. The other option can be typed. Checkboxes. The checkboxes are the same as in Word controls, but in Forms you can have an other open answer as well. Drop-down. The drop-down is like the drop-down list control in Word. The survey taker has to choose one option. There is no other option. File upload. The survey taker can upload a document or a picture file or any other file extension. Linear scale. It is a scaling question that can be configured to start from 0 and end at 10. Multiple choice grid. This is a kind of multiple choice, which the survey taker has to choose one per row or column. There are many rows. Columns can be used for Likert scales. Tick box grid. This is a kind of checkbox which the survey taker has to choose one per row or column. There are many rows. Columns can be used for Likert scales. Date. This makes the user choose a date like the date picker control. Time. This makes the user choose a time. It can be 24H or AM/PM format. Table 5. 1. Types of form questions. Choose the question type that will give you the information you need. You have 11 question types to choose from. You should learn the various question types, as there are many interesting options for how to set up your form. There is a sidebar that lets you add a new question, as well as several additional commands, as seen in Figure 5.54. The additional commands on that sidebar are importing a list, adding a text description similar to the design mode instructive text in Word, and inserting an image or video for the question. Lastly, there is a command for making different section breaks. This can be used as a way to divide up the form, which can be useful if the form is chunked into different topics or if it is several pages long. For example, the demographic questions could all be in one section and the TV viewing questions could be in another. Icons displayed. Add question plus sign inside circle, import questions paper with arrow, add title descriptions large small t, add image square with 2 triangles, add video rectangle with triangle, add section 2 rectangles. Figure 5.54. The sidebar lets you add new questions or import older ones from previous forms. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. There are 2 toolbars in Forms. The top toolbar is used for themes. The bottom toolbar, Figure 5.55, gives the writer more question-level configuration options. It contains the duplicate question command, the delete command, the trash icon, and the required toggle. If you select the duplicate icon, Forms will repeat the previous question, so that all you need to do is edit the question instead of writing it again from scratch. The delete command is for removing the question from the list. The required toggle allows the form creator to make the question mandatory. In other words, the respondent must provide an answer for this question before sending their final responses. In the form, the mandatory question will be followed by a red to indicate that the question is required. The last item is the 3 dots menu drop-down menu that contains a few more question-level settings, like letting you add a description to the question, manage the list of questions, and change the order of the questions. An icon for duplicate 2 pieces of paper stacked and delete a garbage can are visible along with a toggle for required and more options 3 dots. Figure 5.55. The bottom toolbar has tools too, like toggling a requirement of the question. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Importing questions. Importing questions means adding questions from another form or form template to your current form. You can do this by choosing the Import button on the sidebar as seen in Figure 5.56. This will take you to the gallery of form templates forms or your archive of saved forms recent that you have created. Select any one of these and you will be taken to that form where you will see the questions on a sidebar as Figure 5.57 shows. In this example, we selected the customer feedback form template. Select the questions you want to import by ticking the checkboxes. When you are finished making your selections, select Import Questions from the bottom of the sidebar. If you want to add questions from multiple forms, you will have to do the same steps over again for each form. A toolbar with an Import Questions icon is visible to the right of a survey template form. Figure 5.56. You make creating a form easier by importing questions from templates or from previous forms you have created. You can select Recent to access the files in your drive to search for the form you want to use for importing questions. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Import questions pane displays customer feedback form selected with options. Select all, rate your experience selected, feedback type selected, suggestions for improvement selected, name. Import questions 3 button at bottom. Figure 5. 57 You can choose to import all the questions in a form into the current form. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. If you want to import questions from a form that you wrote in Word, the easiest route is to create a new question using the type you need, then copy and paste the text from the other file. This is the most direct approach. Forms will not automatically recognize the type of question you want, such as drop-down list or checkbox, but if you create the question first, then you can paste the specific text into that question. There are add-ons that you can download to help facilitate importing questions from other file types, but using a copy-paste method can be a simple, easy way to get the information from one file into Forms because it involves fewer steps and is often less complicated than using an add-on. Let's use the fillable form that we created in Word and copy the information from a couple of the questions into Forms using this approach. First, create a blank form in Docs and open the fillable form you created in Word. Recall that the first line on the office supply order form is date. In the blank form, you can set the first question to use the date question format type. We can then copy and paste the text from the Word fillable form into the question we just created. This approach is not necessarily importing the questions from the Word fillable form, but it provides a simple way to get the information from one file type into Forms. Customizing the form settings and theme. Although you cannot change the font or text formatting within the form questions, you can change the form theme, which applies some formatting changes globally throughout the form. In the top toolbar in Forms, you will find commands for document formatting and applying themes, as Figure 5.58 shows. The first command, the painter's palette icon, is for changing the overall survey form theme. When you select this, a sidebar Theme Options will appear with theme and background color configurations. See Figure 5.59. From here, you can choose an image for the header, such as a custom design or a company logo, as well as change the color scheme of the document or change the font type of the whole document. There are only 4 font types available. The second command, the eye icon, is for previewing, and it displays the survey how the survey taker would see it. This can be a handy tool for previewing the form before it is sent to the survey takers. The third command, the gear icon, is the form settings. When you access the form settings, you will see 3 tabs. The General tab gives you configurations for the survey takers, such as letting you collect the emails of survey takers, sending the survey takers an email receipt, limiting the takers to only do one survey response, and other configurations, as shown in Figure 5.60. In the Presentation tab, you can change some of the appearance options for your survey, such as the confirmation message, the order of questions, e.g., shuffled or in the same order each time, and other options. The third tab is Quizzes, which contains configuration settings for survey types and is used more commonly in the education industry. Icons for customized theme, a paint palette, preview and eye, and settings, a gear, are visible with a send button and more options, 3 dots stacked on top of each other. Figure 5.58 The top toolbar is for previewing the form or for settings. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Theme pane options, text style header, question and text with options for font and font size in a drop-down menu. Header, choose image, color, various colors displayed, background, various colors displayed. Figure 5.59 The colors can be adjusted to reflect your company's brand. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Theme options are visible for a form with tabs for selection. Figure 5.60 You can add your company's logo on the theme options. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Now go back to your office supply order form. Build out the rest of the questions from the form that we created in Word. We can use some of the tools now to customize the theme to make it more visually appealing and professional in appearance. Figure 5.61 shows an example of some customizations that you might choose to include in the form. Required questions in a form are followed with an asterisk. At the top of the form, required is visible in red font. Figure 561, notice the asterisk following the questions that are required. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Distributing the form. The last command of the top toolbar is the Send button, which lets you start the actual surveying process. After you press Send, you'll have 4 options of how to distribute the survey. You can type your client's email addresses and send it to them directly, get a public link, which you can paste into an email, embed the survey into a website, or post the survey to a social media account, figure 562. If you choose to send it by email, you will need to copy and paste or manually type in all of the recipient's email addresses. You'll be able to write the body and subject of the message, but there are limitations to the length and style of the message. You cannot do any text formatting or add graphics in this interface like you would if you constructed the email in your email program and included the form link. Note that the recipients will not see the other recipients' email addresses in the list. Also, there is no way to use the email addresses in your Google Contacts or other contact list. This approach is best for a small number of recipients. If you expect to send the form to a large number of people, it is better to use your email program to send the form with the link. The second option is to send the form via a public link. You can copy this link and paste it anywhere. For example, you can save it for later use and send it to clients after a business activity has passed, e.g., after a successful purchase. You could also paste it into an email and send it to your recipients that way. The third option is embedding, which will give you the HTML code so that you can insert the form link on the company website. When you choose this option, the HTML code will be displayed. You can then copy that code and use it to embed the form on a website. This option can be used when you want the responders to go to your company's website to answer the questions. Send form window displays tabs for send via, along with icons for send by email, send via public link, embed HTML, and social media buttons for Facebook and Twitter. Figure 562. There are 4 ways to share the survey to the clients. Choose the link option to send the form through your email program. The form can also be embedded into a website using the HTML option. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Lastly, you can send the form via social media. Forms has Facebook and Twitter, now X, icons on the right side of the Send Form dialog box. Selecting one of these will allow you to embed the form directly onto your social media page or feed for others to access. Viewing responses. Once you send the survey, you may want to wait a few days for individuals to respond. You can consult the response statistics by going to your form and looking at the top of the form screen. By default, you are viewing the Questions tab as seen in Figure 563. A quarterly office supply order form includes tabs for questions highlighted, Responses 3, and Settings. Images of office supplies scattered on a desk along with a coffee cup are visible. Figure 563. Even before the survey is complete, you can check the response statistics. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. If you choose the Responses tab, you'll be taken to the Responses report page, as shown in Figure 564. At the top of the Responses report, there is a Google Sheets icon command. If you choose this, all the report output will be exported to your Sheets app, and from there you can download the file as an Excel file or CSV. Forms provide some basic visualizations for the response. If you want more in-depth analysis, you might use other programs more suited for statistical analysis. When you want to close the form to new responses, you can toggle the Accepting Responses lever on the right side of Responses tab. This means that no one can submit any more responses to your form. Responses 3 tab is selected on a form. View in Sheets is hyperlinked at the right and a toggle for accepting responses is indicated. A Summary tab displays information about the responses. Figure 564. When you are finished accepting responses, you can get the results in Sheets. Google Forms is a trademark of Google LLC. Link to learning. Forms is not just used to create surveys. Read this article on creative ways to use Google Forms in the workplace to learn more. Forms can also be used in your personal life. Read this article on some very unique uses of forms to learn more. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to use advanced sharing settings in Google Docs, Use advanced editing level and access settings in Google Docs. Use advanced settings to view comments and suggested edits. The WorldCorp market trends report needs to advance fast, and the best way to do that is by multi-user collaboration. By using Google's cloud service, Google Drive, you can have multiple users work on their portion of the report simultaneously. As you work in the document, you may see these collaborators typing all at the same time as they have their own cursor with their username. This kind of online, synchronous collaboration will speed up the review and revision process. Advanced sharing settings. The chapter on creating and working in documents discussed basic sharing capabilities of Google Docs. But understanding the more advanced settings in Docs can maximize your work in the app and help you get the most out of collaborating in it. Docs allows up to 100 persons working on the document at the same time. This can be useful when many people need to view a file at once, such as real-time meeting notes or a report being discussed on a conference call. But keep in mind that some of the same limitations exist in Docs as they do in Word Online. Having many people working and editing the document at the same time can cause problems. When several individuals are working on the same file at the same time, you might see text shifting around, people making changes in areas you just changed, or conflicting information added by different collaborators. Fortunately, you can see how many people are accessing the document and who they are, as seen in Figure 5.65. You can communicate with them using the Google Chat software called Google Meet, as Figure 5.66 shows. Collaborators can also chat directly in the document by adding comments as they make edits and revisions. You can also see where your document collaborators are typing by choosing their icon in the title bar. Docs will jump down to where their cursor is in the document. The collaborator's cursor uses another color, and it moves as the collaborator types. You can check who has access to this document at all times, not just when they are online and active, when you click the Share button at the top right of the document. This will reveal a dialog box displaying all the people who have been granted permission to view, edit, or comment on the document, as you can see in Figure 5.67. As you are collaborating on documents with colleagues at WorldCorp, it is helpful to be able to restrict editing to certain individuals while receiving comments from others. With Docs, you have the ability to see where changes are made and by whom. A document lists people with access. One is an owner. A pane is open for an editor listing options for viewer, commenter, editor selected, and remove access. Figure 5.65. When sharing the document, you can determine how they can or cannot change the file. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. An in-call messages pane displays image of person on a call with comments. Turn off microphone, your camera is blocked, present now, more options pop-up menu and leave call icons are visible. Figure 5.66. Docs allows for a lot of interactivity and communication. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. A word in a document is highlighted pale green and next to it is a dark green cursor with Angela Mitchell written in a dark green box in white font above it. Figure 5.67. Changes are highlighted with the name of the editor who made the change. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. Sharing without adding collaborators. There may be times when you want certain people to have access to a doc, but they do not have a Google account. Or you may not want to add them as a formal collaborator to the document, but rather just give them access to review the document instead of making edits. Luckily, there are ways to do this in Google. To share the document with people who do not have a Google account, you should generate a shareable link and choose anyone with the link. This is accessed through the Share option in the upper right corner of the screen. You can then choose the access level viewer, commenter, or editor, generate the shareable link and copy it into an email or elsewhere for everyone to access, as shown in Figure 5.68. These contributors with no Google account will be able to open and edit the document with an anonymous username. You may also want to share your document with a third party without adding them to your group of collaborators. This can be done using the command email this file found in the File menu as Figure 5.69 shows. This command sends the file as a docx or PDF to their email. A Get Link pane is open. Options open for anyone with the link. Anyone on the internet with this link can view, include viewer selected, commenter, and editor. Figure 5. 68 non-Google account editors can enter and contribute using an anonymous username. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. File tab options: Share, New, Open, Make a copy, Save as Google Docs, Email, Download, Version history, Rename, Move, Add shortcut to Drive. Email selected options. Email this file selected. Email collaborators. Figure 5. 69. The email in this file command allows you to share your document with a third party without adding them to the list of contributors. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. You may also convert the document into an embedded document so that it is published on a web page. The command Publish to the Web, located in the File menu, will open a dialog box. Figure 5. 70. Here you have two options: either to provide a link to the file or create the HTML code to embed the information directly on the web page. Using either method will make the information available to anyone on the internet, so use caution when choosing to publish information from a Google file to the web. Check the box Automatically Republish when changes are made if you want the embedded object on the web page to be updated when you change the document. If you do not choose this option, you will need to update the embedding when changes to the document are made. Then click on Start Publishing and the HTML code will be generated as shown in Figure 571. Copy and paste these codes onto your web page. The other option of Publish to the Web is to get a public link, as shown in Figure 572, which can be shared via social media or in an email. This public link is different from the Anyone with the Link shareable links because the public link is searchable in search engines. File tab options: New, Open, Make a copy, Share, Email, Download, Rename, Move, Add shortcut to Drive, Move to Trash, etc. Share selected options. Share with others, Publish to Web selected. Figure 5. 70. Publishing to the web makes the document available on the internet and is searchable on the web. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. Embed tab is selected in a Publish to the Web window. A link is visible and published reads below it. A checkable box for Automatically Republish when changes are made is selected. Figure 571. Be sure to check the box to automatically update the information published if changes are made in the source document. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. Link tab is selected in a Publish to the Web window. A link is visible and published reads below it. A checkable box for Automatically Republish when changes are made is selected. Figure 572. The public link can be shared now either through email or your website. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. Advanced Editing Access Settings. The chapter on creating and working in documents discussed the different levels of access you can grant your collaborators. Granting someone editing access to your doc means that they can make any changes they want to the document. They do not have to track changes or work in suggesting mode if they do not want to. This is the most open of all sharing settings. One way to give someone editing access to a doc is via a shareable link. The user that opens a shareable link can be restricted in different ways. You can set up the settings to restrict the opener of the file by selecting anyone on the internet with this link can edit. As we've learned, non-Google users can access shareable links that have the designation of either anyone with the link or public link. Figure 5. 68. The other option, restricted, allows sharing and collaborating but with some limitations. If you check this option, the editor, commenter, or viewer combo box disappears as seen in Figure 573. This means that the link will only open for people who are listed as collaborators. Figure 574 summarizes the kinds of restrictions on shareable links. In the Get Link pane, Restricted is selected and indicates that only people added can open with this link. Figure 573. With the restricted link, only people who were shared at in the past can see the document. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. A Restrictions of Shareable Links table describes 3 types of links: published to the web, anyone with the link, and restricted and who can access each. Figure 574. These are the kinds of shareable links available. For all types of shareable links, there are the 3 standard types of readers of the document, as seen in Figure 575. Again, there is also a Share with People settings options at the top right corner of the Share dialog box. If you uncheck editors can change permissions and share, it will prevent editors from changing access and adding new people. This allows editor recipients to edit, comment, or read, but doesn't allow them to share the document. The other option, if unchecked, is directed at commenters and viewers, as they cannot download, copy, or print the document. A restrictions of shareable links email recipients table lists 3 types of collaborators on a file: editor, commenter, and reader, along with the permissions of each. Figure 5.75. These are the kinds of collaborators available. Advanced settings for viewing comments and suggested edits. Once you are ready to view comments in a doc, navigate to the top right area of your document and click on the comment history icon shown in callout 1 in Figure 5.76. Then, click on the bell icon to view and customize notification settings shown in callout 2. As shown in Figure 5.77, if you choose only yours, the email notifications of changes on the document will be sent to you only if you are being mentioned by an operator or if someone edits some passage you wrote. If you choose none, you will not be notified by email, even if the changes and comments and mentions are related to your written passages. An icon for open comment history is labeled with a number 1. A bell icon for change email notification settings for this document is labeled with a number 2. Figure 5.76. You can view the comments made on a document by choosing the Comments tool. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. A bell icon for change email notification settings for this document is selected and opens to these options. All selected, only yours and none. Figure 5.77. Adjust the notifications for the document so you will know when comments or changes are made. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. Once you have chosen your notification settings, return to the comment history icon. In Figure 5.78, you can see the sidebar that appears when you click on the icon showing the comment history. You can view all comments together in this sidebar. Without the sidebar, you would have to scroll down the screen slowly to see all the comments on the document. The sidebar is similar to the review pane in Word. If you want to filter the comments on the sidebar, you can click on the Comments drop-down command and filter by For You, Open, and Resolved. Figure 5.79. Filtering by For You gives you all comments that are directed to you directly with the @ symbol. Filtering by Open gives you all comments that are marked as open, regardless of who the comments are directed toward. And finally, filtering by Resolved shows all the comments that have been marked resolved and are no longer active comments to address. A comments sidebar lists comments made in a document along with the name of the commentator and any replies made along with names of repliers. Figure 5.78. The comment history sidebar shows all of the comments made in a document and includes information like usernames, timestamps, and comment status. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC. All is selected in comments and displays options for all selected, For You, Open, and Resolved. A bell icon for change email notification settings for this document is located to the right. Figure 5.79. You can easily see all comments on a long document all together using the comment history. Google Docs is a trademark of Google LLC.